Hello, distinguished friends and colleagues. This is Stuart Hamilton, the Pro-Life Activities Coordinator for the Archdiocese of Louisville, Kentucky, serving under Deacon Stephen Bowling. And this is 5 Minutes for Life, where we take 5 minutes to discuss one ministry, one event, or one topic that affects the pro-life movement here in the Archdiocese. This is actually part 2 in a 3-part series I'm doing on in vitro fertilization. In the first part, I discussed the Alabama Supreme Court case, which kicked off a national debate surrounding in vitro fertilization, which I'll henceforth refer to as IVF in this video. It also caused both Republican and Democratic lawmakers to rush to create legal protections for the process of IVF. Now, this is extremely problematic from the Catholic Church perspective because Catholic moral theology is opposed to IVF. So in this video, what I'd like to do is discuss why is the Catholic Church opposed to IVF. Well, right off the top, I want to say it has nothing to do with the intentions of the couples. Presumably, the couples that seek pregnancy through IVF are loving married couples, and their end goal is very noble. They want a healthy, happy child to love and to raise virtuously. That's the presumed end goal. But in Catholic moral theology, not only the end goal, but also the means of getting there must be moral. And that means in IVF is extremely problematic. So to discuss this further, we need to describe what happens in IVF. How does it actually work? What are the means? Well, first, you take a woman that cannot naturally conceive. You dose her with hormones so that she overproduces eggs. Then you harvest these eggs, and then independently you harvest sperm from presumably the husband of the couple. And then in a lab situation, you unite both sperm and egg and you conceive up to 3 to 10 human embryos. Now, from the standpoint of science and biology, from the moment of conception, you have individual human lives. They have separate DNA from both their parents, so you have 3 to 10 human lives in the embryonic stage, and all they lack is the appropriate environment to progress to maturity. Now then, you take those embryos and you try to implant them back into the female for a viable pregnancy. So why do you do 3 to 10 embryos? Why not just one? Well, usually statistically, the first embryo fails to impregnate and is miscarried. So it's more cost efficient to already have multiple embryos in line. Now this is where some bad morality comes in here, as the Alabama case perfectly highlighted. After pregnancy, what happens to all the excess embryos? Well, they are either cryogenically frozen indefinitely, or they are simply disposed of as human waste. Now understand, from the standpoint of Catholic theology, each of these unborn human lives is made in the image of God. To dispose of them as human waste is quite simply murder. And there are a lot of them being disposed of. Now, pro-choice legislators are quick to point out, if you're going to make IVF legal, why don't you make abortion legal? In the vast majority of abortions, the pregnancy occurs because of a free will choice of the mother. IVF pregnancy occurs as a free will choice of the mother. And in both cases, in early term abortion and in IVF, the mother can choose whether to dispose of the embryos. What exactly is the difference? Well, from the perspective of Catholic moral theology, absolutely none. Both constitutes the murder of unborn human life. So how many of these embryos are actually being created and disposed of? Well, according to estimates, since the 1990s, there have been reportedly 1.6 million embryos per year created that will never reach maturity. 1.6 million embryos per year. 1.6 million human lives that are potentially going to be lost from year to year. This is a staggering loss of human life that even dwarfs abortion statistics. So now I hope you see why it is abundantly clear that IVF isn't something we should legally protect. It's something that every Catholic should oppose on moral grounds. Now, even though this loss of human life is the most obvious reason to oppose IVF, it's not the most fundamental and essential reason from the perspective of Catholic theology and philosophy. And that is what we're going to look at in part 3. If you like what I'm doing here, please smash that like button, subscribe, and maybe hit the notification bell to know when new videos are produced. And remember, every human life is worth fighting for, because every human life, regardless of how it's conceived, has dignity in the eyes of God. God bless you, and I hope to see you here next time.